Have you ever found yourself after a game of D&D debating over a particular rule that came up and trying to figure out, as a group, how to break it? As a DM, do you get that feeling of dread when your player asks, if you look at it this way? Well, we decided to turn that into a podcast. A group of DMs come together every episode as we discuss how, rules as written, we can figure out how to maximize what we can do with a rule and how we can use other rules to break the game. Each episode, we will be joined by a guest, including DMs from some of our favorite podcasts, and get a sneak peek behind the DM screen from some of our favorite shows as they share their own thoughts and experiences on a particular rule and how it has affected their games. Please feel free to jump in on our discussions by leaving us a comment on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, or feel free to email me at dm@dndraw.com, or send us a tweet to @rules as written, and let us know how the rule may have come up during one of your games, or how you figured out a way to break the game that we didn't discuss. So, thanks for joining us. Hey, I'm Tony.
Hey, I'm Rachel.
Hi, this is Bethany.
And this is Jeremy.
So today, we're going to be diving into the character of Jarlaxle.
Awesome. So we'll get started with the interview questions first, which is for you, Jeremy. First question is the hardest. Can you tell us what you create? What are you known for in the interwebs?
Well, not too much at the moment.
That's okay.
Yeah. Starting up my own actual play podcast, Midknight Kingdoms. It's homebrew, of course. Finally decided on a system. I've been working on it for over 20 years. And then when 5th edition came out and I finally took a look at it, it all came together in like a few months. It was pretty awesome. So we are about 6 months into recording, still on pace to release in September. And yeah, it's going really well. They finally started getting some momentum. So it's, we're all starting to get used to the 5th edition because we're all new to it.
And also to podcasting?
And podcasting, yes. I've never podcasted in my life. So it's nice to, have done one with Giuseppe and with you guys to kind of get that out of the way.
Dip your toes in.
Yeah, exactly. No pressure.
We've just made it to advanced amateurs.
No, that's
Advanced amateurs. AA.
I'm about to say that's very accurate description.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the Traps episode. We were talking about starting up a band like you're in high school. Like,
oh yeah,
the most appropriate thing. I was laughing so hard because it's so true.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's that moment you're all looking at each other like, guys, we should start a podcast. Oh my gosh.
We should totally start
It's
a podcast.
going to be so good. You're
It'd
going
be
to do this.
amazing.
I'm going to do that. People are going to love it. And then you're like, we have no idea what we're doing.
It's the point where you start editing where you're like, oh gosh, what did I get myself into?
And then you go, wow, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, I've been slowly picking away at the editing, and it's I'm getting there.
Getting there.
Yep.
Yep.
I will say, at least from my perspective, you're constantly learning new ways to make your life both harder and easier. Because I'll look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this thing, which will make it sound so good. But now I have to do it for the whole thing.
Continuous improvement is the name of the game.
It's a learning curve.
It is. It is.
So, Tony.
Get us started on the topic. Tell us maybe who Jarlaxle is for those who are not familiar.
Take us on
How
a journey.
do I
Yeah.
explain this briefly?
All right, so Rachel, what do you know about Jarlaxle? And Tony will build
Let's go
on
with
that.
Jarlaxle is a drow.
No.
I know he's in the Champions of the Idle Forgotten Realms thingy. Or
Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms.
That one. It's the clicker game. And he wears a purple hat. And he does good when there's nobody in front of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one of, he has better he does better attacks when there's nobody in front of him.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I'm intrigued by that.
That's about all I know.
Oh gosh. Okay, so of all the characters in the Forgotten Realms, I'd have to say he is my favorite because he's just the most interesting. So he is a drow mercenary and one of the only drow males to actually hold a position of power at all. And he has he himself has no magic, but oh my gosh, the amount of magic items that he actually possessed. When I was looking online, I'll just say this. When I was looking online, I was looking to see, like, okay, what magic items does he have? Let me try and do some research and collect this. And there was one point that someone mentioned, like, asking for stats on him, and someone else just says, listen, doesn't actually matter. Whatever magic items you want to give him, that's his stats. That's what it is.
Yep.
That's his difficulty.
Well, and that's not the whole thing, though. But let's be honest, Tony. Magic stuff aside, the fact that he's a cool mercenary aside, everything. It's really about the swagger.
Oh, does he have swagger, though? So, like, clearly chaotic neutral.
Swagger for days, Rachel. Swagger for days.
I will say...
Luke Cage swagger?
I will say, like,
my
I
gosh.
took a tiny bit of inspiration from Jarlaxle for Vrol in the podcast.
Ooh.
Tiny bit.
I can see that.
Kind of
Not-
that, like,
Hated
whole
for all.
purrings, vaguely sinister thing where you're like, stop handling us.
But, like, the whole time through the book's like, yeah, no, overall, he'll probably do the right thing. But if he's doing the right thing, that means that he's getting something good out of it. Because in the end, it's about what he can get. I know in the books lately they've done a lot more of, like, oh no, he's slowly becoming good. But they're still like, no, it's the swagger. It's that confidence that he has. I mean, I actually really liked one thing I was reading just because it kind of captures who he is more. But it's like, yeah, Jarlaxle is definitely more of a talker than a fighter. He likes to manipulate people to just do what he wants, and make them believe it was either their idea or it's in their best interest. He doesn't like killing people. He likes to flirt a lot, and he has been well known to sleep with dragons.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very open.
There is a scene I remember reading where his lieutenant comes into the room and it says he is slowly emerging from a pile of female bodies.
I don't think it even specified, Tony.
Actually, you might be right. It might not have.
I don't think it did.
was just pile of bodies.
Pile of bodies.
But also, to take it back, why are we talking about Jarlaxle at all, Tony? Why did we get, like, to the point where, like, we've liked this character? Why is this something we want to talk about on the podcast?
The main thing was because we saw in the upcoming book for, Dragon Heist, that on the front cover is his picture. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, we haven't done a character thing in a while, character analysis in the game as if they were a player or anything like that. Let's do Jarlaxle. He's coming out. He is my favorite character in the Forgotten Realms. Like, let's jump into this.
Agreed. Between him and Artemis,
yes.
They are two of the most complex characters. They're phenomenal anti-heroes, and they just kick some general butt.
Yeah.
They're so much cooler than the, like, pure good guys.
Oh,
Forgotten Realms stories
completely.
where you're like, who are just like Superman. Where you're like, oh, they're so good. They're so great. Yeah.
They're so one-dimensional. Like, even
Yeah.
Drizzt.
They really are.
I mean, Drizzt has a little bit of layer, but it's very just blah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've
Yeah.
ranted about Drizzt extensively.
Yeah.
Well, you built an anti-Drizzt.
I did. I built a character who actually in-world hated him.
Because why not?
Okay, well, this does tie to the Jarlaxle thing because Tony was running out of the abyss, and I knew just enough that he gave me the premise that I'm like, okay, number one fear I have about running a party in the Underdark, we're going to get lost and starve to death. So I will build a ranger because I don't want to die to non-monstrous threats like basic survival. So from there, I was like, well, I was looking at what would be good to go with my ranger, and I thought, oh, it would be really good to build a drow because then I'd have better connections to like what's going on in the world. And I was like, I'll be a drow ranger. That'll be cool. And then I was like, oh wait, I'm building a drow ranger.
Don't be Drizzt.
And I was like, don't be Drizzt. Okay, you know what? I hate Drizzt. He's the worst. He abandoned his people. He's selfish. I don't want anything to do with him. And for that character, Tony let me, in his version of Forgotten Realms, build this character as Jarlaxle's daughter. Because it makes sense he would have some kids somewhere. Somewhere.
At some point, yeah.
So I might have also done that because I'm like, that means Tony as DM has to play Jarlaxle at some point in the campaign.
The best thing is, and slight spoiler for Out of the Abyss, he is in the book. Not statted, but you are actually supposed to go and see him as an option to help you on a particular quest.
And I was like, this is gonna
That's
be so
cool.
fun! Tony can totally, like, go all in on this character. It'll be hilarious.
Actually, I'm also pretty sure that Wizards wasn't ready to release Jarlaxle as a stat block yet, because they have Matron Mother Baneray as a stat block in the book, but Jarlaxle's just described in terms of personality. And that's it.
Well, because it doesn't make sense also within the book that you would fight him. Or that you'd be able to recruit him.
No, but it also doesn't make sense that you'd go and fight Matron Mother Baneray because she would wreck all of you.
This is true.
At like 12th level, which is where you were at the time.
But to take it back to Jarlaxle, he's not statted because in the book you can go to him for, like, you know, some information on a quest and some help, but he's got other stuff going on. Like, he's got his stuff in the works, he's, you know, running his mercenary group, and you're just kind of there like, hi, we have a thing, we're trying to stop Demogorgon. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And then he's like, smooth talks to you when you're on your way. But I think it'll be interesting to see how he's used in the new book.
I am really curious. He's supposed to be, I think, one of the antagonists, ? That you're up against? Or you're working for him? I'm not actually sure which.
But you think he's going to be statted, right?
So I'm pretty sure he is, because as I was doing a last minute little bit of research, I just saw on a page that, I guess on Dragon Talks or something, they released a little tiny snippet of a stat block that says Jarlaxle Baneray for 5e. And, without going too much into it, he has an AC of 24. And is a CR of 15. Yeah, I think his CR will be adjusted as you start to add the magic items onto him.
Yeah, this was...
But even, like, they actually also released, like, some of the languages, because he speaks Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Undercommon, and who knows what else.
Well, yeah, he has that, he has some magical item where you can pretty much speak anything fluently.
Yeah. I know in the previous research I'd done, there has been references to him speaking all of those languages, as well as Svirfneblin and Halfling. Oh, the Goblin? A Goblin too.
Yes, Svirfneblin is the language of the deep gnomes, because why not? So, Jeremy, since you're Jarlaxle, is it okay to say fan? I don't think there's anything. What is your favorite aspect of, I guess, I was gonna say not just his personality, but of, like, his build. So what he does, how he fights, that sort of thing.
I think it's how he brings his swagger even into combat, where he kind of adjusts his style to his combatants, because it's almost like he wants them to have fun as well. Seriously, it's like he wants them to have as much fun as he's having. You know, so he kind of like tones it down a little bit when they're kind of a little bit easy. It's almost like The Princess Bride, you know, when they're fencing.
Oh, gosh.
You know, they kind of want to make each other feel...
Other
Trust me, I will bring Princess Bride into any conversation.
Please do.
As you should.
Remember, it's in my wedding vows.
Yeah. It's like, you seem an excellent swordsman. I hate to see you die, or I hate to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. I see that being Jarlaxle to a T.
Yes. 100% yes. What was it? I pulled a quote just because talking about his swagger that they had front and center on his little wiki page was, I am Jarlaxle. I have been everywhere.
Yeah, he's kind of unflappable. Like, basically, he has that sort of sense of whatever is going to happen, I'm going to figure my way out. I've always got an exit strategy. I've always got plan B, C, D, etc.
Well, schmooze or stab.
The best thing about it too is, like, even when author-wise they take it from his perspective and you find out he doesn't actually have, like, a plan B for this, he still comes up with one on the spot as things happen because he's just very quick.
Yeah. So, I think for the purposes of this podcast, we kind of have tried to go into how are these, like, epic level characters broken from a build perspective.
All I have to say is magic items.
Because honestly, I don't think his class build is too far off. It's really the magic items, I would say. What do you think, Tony?
Class build wise, I've seen some people like tweak what whatever was official, like Wizard of the Coast stats or whatever at the time. But based off of, like, descriptions, he is a bard, kind of a mastermind rogue, like or swashbuckler, depending on how you look at it, on top of being a fighter. And at one point they even mentioned, and his monk training let him heal himself a bit. I'm like, it was in one book. They mention it. That threw me off because I wasn't expecting that. But other than that, there's no mention of him being a monk. But basically, I see him like as a, if you're looking at 5e, like a rogue fighter bard mix.
Just really multi-classed.
I mean, he is Jarlaxle. Yeah. But in the end, it's the fact that I have, let me see, 2.5 pages of magic items here. And I'm pretty sure, actually no, I'm confident that's not all of them.
And it's also a smaller font with single spacing.
Yes.
For reference, yeah.
For those who can't
yeah.
see.
And I already was looking through it. I'm like, oh, there's new magic items that he has now that are not listed here because I read the more recent Archmage books and all that.
Archmage?
Yeah, that was
new Drizzt books.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They came out at the same time as we were running out of the Abyss.
Come on, Rachel, catch up.
Rings a bell.
Yeah. Rachel's like, not.
He's a dude with a hat.
So okay, let's talk about that hat.
Let's talk about that
hat.
I'm really interested in that.
Several magical effects. So the feather in it allows him to summon a large flightless bird that exists in the Underdark that can fight for him. And then the feather just regrows. It takes time.
Yeah, I was calling it an Underdark battle chicken, basically.
On top of that, the hat is can allow him to disguise himself, and
as it should.
Has the inside he can pull out an inner part of the hat and throw it, and is a portable hole that he uses not only to sometimes store stuff, but to cause people to fall into it.
Of course.
That's
what else do you do with portable
just
holes?
the hat.
What about the feather?
The feather that creates the diatrema?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's technically separate from the hat.
It grows back from the hat, though.
Oh, it does. You're right.
Yes.
Forgot that. Yeah. So that's a solid magic item.
Seems legit.
Totally not overpowered.
So, Tony, can I have one of those?
No.
For your character, for Rumble Squad?
Yeah, she really wants it.
That's the last thing she needs is to summon a giant Underdark battle chicken.
But then you have the eye patch, which...
That's ridiculous.
So... He actually, both of his eyes are fine. But if he puts it over one eye, he's protected from any magical or psionic influence on his mind. If he puts it over the other eye, he can see through things.
So, he switches it depending on what's convenient.
There's several times in the book they mention, like, oh, it's over his right eye this time. And another time, oh, it's over his left eye this time. And they don't explain why for quite a while, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're just like, is it just an affectation? Like, is it just a style thing?
Oh, you know what? The author kept forgetting which eye it's supposed to be over. Got it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's like in Sherlock Holmes with Watson's moving war wound. It's like that. It's just an oversight. I think it's interesting that, like, out of the magic items he has, though, they're overall stylish.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all about style.
I will have to say, my favorite magic item, and only because this has to deal with Jarlaxle's own just sheer confidence, is a wand of illusions that he has. That at some point in the book, he trained himself so much on how to use this that he can make enemies actually feel the pain and effects of a fireball.
Because it illusions so hard.
It illusions so well from his sheer willpower that he will drop a fireball, quote unquote, at his feet, burn the enemies around him, but of course he's fine because he knows it's fake.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm also going to need one of those.
Rachel's like, sold.
Just making a shopping
Yeah,
list.
you're going to write these down as we go. Sounds good. Yep, I'll take 5.
Good. I'll take...
Yeah, you should have seen the party when I had them in Out of the Abyss when they got to Jarlaxle. So they're like, so what magic items can we get from him? Like, yeah, you're going to have to fight him if you want him. He's not giving them up.
I'm like, but he has so many, he could spare something.
No, he's Jarlaxle.
He could, but he won't.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, are there other magic items or things that Jarlaxle has that have stood out to you?
Yeah, I was trying to go through this ridiculous list.
I'm trying not to read every single one, but I'm looking at my favorites.
Yeah, it's just too much. Just the best ones.
Yeah, well, I think the two of them is the snake belt, which I think
I
is
was
just
thinking the snake
ridiculous.
belt. I was like, ooh, I like that.
That's just again ridiculous. I See, exactly. I don't have the words. It ascends to the length that is required.
Yeah.
How stupid is that? That's just... Plus, it's a snake belt.
Yeah.
I want a snake belt.
You're like, look at all these boring regular belts I have around my house. What do they do for me? They hold pants up? Lame.
Overrated.
Lame.
Never turn into a snake.
No.
And then the fine cord, that goes to 120 feet?
Because obviously you have to be climbing all over.
Well, it's not even necessarily used for climbing, but just any number of traps you could set up, or just... I forgot what he used it for initially when it popped up.
I don't remember.
Well, so I have a question that I probably should know the answer to. Does he ever carry a pack, or is his stuff always on his person?
I mean, it mentions even the fine cord is tucked under his hat. You have, stuff in his, breast pocket that he has. Most of the items he has is stuff that he can tuck on his person.
Yeah, he's not, carrying a sack full of stuff. It's all, stealthy, just part of his whole thing.
Yeah, he's got, his puafui, which is a cloak of elven kind, but it's also, a cloak of displacement at the same time.
It's also.
It is both.
And it's also.
Yeah, other people have magic items that do only one thing.
No, he's got, his boots of elven kind that make no sound. He's got, brooches that let him not take force damage or magic missiles. All of them are small things.
Yeah, and the belt pouch of extra holding.
Yes.
Which has brandy in it, by the way.
I know. One of my favorites was in the middle of one of the books. He and Drizzt are talking after they just killed a bunch of demons. They have a bunch more they need to kill, but he's like, no, let's take a moment. And he reaches into his pocket, pulls out this little, what looks like a table, flicks it, and it becomes a full feast. And then he reaches into two other pockets as he's looking for something else, pulls out what looks like, a little instrument, flicks it, and it's playing beautiful music.
Yeah, the viol.
The viol.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, please, let's sit and relax. It's supposed to be a hero's...
Take a load off.
It's a hero's feast. It's a portable hero's feast.
Take a load off.
Yeah, exactly. Because he enjoys the finer things in life, as well as being, the leader of a mercenary group and adventure.
Which we haven't actually touched on much, by the way.
Oh, should we talk about what his actual job is?
I mean, we could spend the next, hour and a half.
He has a job. He's a business owner, Rachel.
Besides being fantastic and, looking nice.
Yeah, no, that's just a hobby.
That's just a hobby. That's his evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drizzt Series, or however you want to pronounce that. So he founded this in order to give himself a position of power within Drow society, and the matron mothers who rule the society actually hire him to help them all the time.
So what is it? You didn't actually...
It's a mercenary group. Mm-hmm. That's basically it. It is a mercenary group. They take jobs and they do those jobs. He's... one of the first books I actually read with him in it was he was talking to the matron mother of one house. I believe that was Duerden house.
Probably.
I think so.
Which is the house of Drizzt, the character
Drizzt.
we were talking about earlier.
And she was at war with another matron mother, and the other house was at their gates. They were beating them back, and the Duerden house just tells him, listen, I'll give you a favor, whatever you want. Just help me. And he goes, okay. And he blows a whistle that only his men can hear. And suddenly all the men that are attacking the gates of that house turn on the other house.
They just switch sides.
They just switch sides because he's like, all right, switch. He's like, and now I'm going to get that favor from you. And he just walks out and floats down to the ground because he can levitate too, by the way.
Of course he can. He can't. One of his items can.
One of his items can.
That's a good point.
Any noble gets this item.
Any noble drow. It's just like a standard thing, if you're...
Wait, so was he already noble then?
So he actually hates his family, which is the ruling house of all of Menzoberranzan. His sister is the leader of Menzoberranzan, and his brother is the archmage and most powerful wizard in all of Drow society.
So yeah, he's super noble.
And he hates them all and changed his last name to D'aerthe and wants no association with them.
But it's kind of an open secret within the books, right? A lot of people know it. Not everybody, but a lot of people, because, it's hard to be a really well-known drow from a big family that, has a lot of power.
Yeah.
I mean, Also, when you're really flamboyant, you draw lots of attention to yourself literally everywhere you go.
I'm sorry, my favorite picture of him is still with like the open vest that he has all across the midriff, and he's got the hat flared back, his sword in one hand, just like yelling into the side.
And you're just
So
like...
what you're saying is he's like the Jeff Goldblum.
I was just
Oh
gonna
my
say,
God.
That's all I'm hearing. That's literally all I'm hearing.
Oh, yes, he is.
That was the image I got as well.
Yeah, the Jeff Goldblum, the one where he's doing the reclining.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only image of Jeff Goldblum that like exists anywhere.
Where
I
he
think
now
he
has a statue in England, I believe, of that pose.
London, yeah.
Because that's what the world needs.
Didn't ask for it, but they need it.
We all could use a little more Jeff Goldblum in our lives.
That's what Jeff Goldblum thinks. We saw him at I was gonna say panel. We saw him at MegaCon, just being Jeff Goldblum as he answered questions. It was very,
He
it was very
he
authentic.
was very much Jeff Goldblum. Yes, everything that you see in interviews, that is accurate.
That's what he's like in interviews in person. It's all very Goldblum. Where I'm like, wow, that was weird, but good. But
You're like, but I didn't expect anything different. But I wasn't disappointed.
no, it was everything you could have wanted. But sorry, we got off topic. Back to Jarlaxle.
Were we really off topic? Because Jarlaxle being
No.
Jeff Goldblum, I'm still...
I mean, there's some similarities there, I suppose. I don't think he runs a group of mercenaries. Jeff Goldblum, that is. But
He could.
He could.
He's got the swag.
yes.
I don't know if I'd call it swagger, but he's got something.
He's got a special something.
He's got those middle-aged women.
Yeah,
Well,
Ra-
that's something.
Just saying.
Rachel's just like,
Just saying.
I'm not going to touch that.
I was just laying it out there. Do with it what you will.
So let's see. So what else do we need to cover? Because we've sort
His
of touched
friends.
Oh.
Kimuriel. Athrogate.
Yes.
I know you hate Athrogate, by the way.
Me?
Yes.
I mean, I've been pretty upfront about my stance on dwarves. I'm sorry to those who love dwarves, but dwarves are almost invariably annoying.
Yeah.
They're so stinking annoying.
So just to give Rachel, the people who basically serve him is the most powerful psionicist of all the drow, a dwarf who has a belt of cloud giant strength and two, morning stars that explode on contact with anything.
Yep.
As well as Artemis and Triri, pretty much. So Kimuriel is his lieutenant and then has many times been in charge of the mercenary band Brigand D'aerthe, and he lived with mind flayers and learned their powers.
Because, what else are you going to do in your spare time?
And even Jarlaxle confuses him. He doesn't have a full read on Jarlaxle. Because Jarlaxle.
An eye patch.
Because he has an eye patch.
No, that's not
it
maybe because
helps.
it prevents psionic intrusion.
I know, but just the way you said
Because
he
eye
has an
patch.
eye patch.
People with eye patches are notoriously hard to read. No, it's a magic eye patch. Gosh darn it.
No, I know it's a magic eye patch.
I'm gonna go pick up an eye patch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
protect
disadvantage on all
yourself,
insight checks against you.
Yeah, because, who knows what's happening behind there.
That second eye, just,
It's shifty as all get out.
Yeah, so he's got Kimuriel. And then Athrogate is my least favorite dwarf of all the dwarves that I intensely dislike.
I'll lean away from the mic, but it's because every, other sentence he goes, that's him. That's Athrogate.
Ugh.
I got to play him for a very brief amount of time, and it was just one session, and the players hated him. With burning
Far
passion.
too long. And I was like, this is why, Tony. This is why I don't like dwarves. They're just
It's all
too
his fault.
much. Yeah. But, so they kind of support him, and they kind of run a lot of stuff for him in different ways, so he could take a step back and do the fun stuff, let's be honest.
Stab things.
Stab things,
No, it's the dragons.
hang out with dragons, talk to people, just mess with people.
Not just dragons, dragon sisters
Oh,
is the most recent one.
Well, because they can also take other forms.
Yeah, they
besides
take
dragon.
humanoid forms.
But yeah.
I'm just filling in gaps in my head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Is it
worry.
all making sense?
That's why
Rachel?
we're just going to leave that as it is.
It's all making sense.
What are you thinking of this character? Is it having just been exposed primarily through?
I like him.
Yeah, you're like this.
Also, he has a fantastic hat, so
does.
you know.
I'm looking at the latest picture that they put out for him, and I'm like, yeah, that seems right.
You know, I like to look fantastic with my characters.
It's
He
true.
looks so dapper in this picture. It is amazing.
The dapperest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we've talked a lot about his stuff. We've talked a little bit about his exploits. I guess maybe it's time to talk about kind of like the whole package. What would make this a really broken character build? I'd have to say it's not, well, it's probably the magic items, but it's just the idea of like almost all the magic items he has are not the sort of things you could use without an attunement slot. They're all pretty much things that would require attunement. And then I'm reminded this is why we have attunement slots. Because
No, he's an uber artificer also, which means that he ignores attunement.
Oh, is
That's
that what
just-
it is? Yeah.
He wills himself to ignore attunement.
Must be nice.
The rest of us have to grapple with the idea of, well, I can't have all of the magic items and use them all at the same time. He doesn't have that problem.
La-di-da for him.
I must say, that's probably one of the best things they did with 5th edition.
The attunements?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of keep things a little bit more contained, so you don't have a Jarlaxle show up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry, I was going to say, I think it also helps. I know I was a new DM who gave stuff I shouldn't have too early, so it did eventually level out because there were attunement slots, so they had to make choices.
Vorpal sword!
And we're still making
I've
choices.
only given out one Vorpal sword, and I regretted it so hard.
When I started getting a lot more nat 20s than she expected.
So many, like multiple in each session
Yeah.
for sessions on end.
Oh yeah, it would just be like, oh, well, you know I'm a barbarian. I was like, yep, and reckless attack. And another reckless attack. It's like, come on,
Reckless
let's
attack.
keep doing that advantage till I get a 20 again.
And then apparently I sound mean when I say things like, you're supposed to be dead by now.
Yeah.
They make for such good stories.
Yeah, it does make for good stories.
Yeah, when we go up to the mini boss and intend to let her live, and then I cut her head off. Oops.
Yeah. And then they're like, what can you do? A Vorpal sword.
Yep.
Yeah. So yes, attunement slots doesn't solve that mistake. That's for sure. But it means you can't have 5 Vorpal swords or a whole bunch of stag.
5 Vorpal.
I have an issue with magical items as a whole. I think they can easily break a game.
Yes.
Which is one of the best things, again, about 5th edition. I really don't hand out magical items to begin with. And actually, my world doesn't have magical items.
What a sad world.
Yeah, it's a bit depressing, but I do have like masterwork items, which kind of take the place of that. And I also have a system that I stole from Iron Kingdoms, which was a 3.5 setting, which I don't want to get into here because I could talk for another hour.
Give us the abridged version.
So basically, they have gems in them. I don't know if it's gems. It's basically like an articulator that collects magical energy, and then you can turn that weapon into either a trickling effect, where basically it becomes like a flaming sword, or you can do it where it's a burst item, where when you strike on an attack, it releases, say, like a fireball. So, but either way, you basically have like limited uses on it. So like a trickling effect goes all day, versus like a fireball has limited effects, and you basically give up spell slots or spells to re-energize it.
Okay.
So, shortened version.
Is that because you like rarity of magic more as a narrative component or for game balance?
A little bit of both. Again, I think as part of that risk versus reward. I like to make magic a very rare thing and make it something that people cherish a bit more. It makes them to go for it, you know, because again, it's so rare that it gets people excited, and a lot of people are going for it, and it's so a lot of the weapons in my setting would probably be considered legendary. Beyond that, everything's more masterwork.
It's cool. Yeah,
Nice.
I definitely got with just sort of the traditional, like, magic is as common as you need it to be approach.
Yeah.
But that's also because I started running a game was like, I like giving people stuff because they get all excited. I like giving gifts as a person.
I like when my friends like me.
I like when they're all happy and excited and thrilled. And then I was like, what have I done? Let's be honest. You guys know I said it to you. I made mistakes, but I'm not going to take your stuff away because then you'll never forgive me. I learned a valuable lesson from my experience in Rachel's game where I was like, don't mess with their stuff. Do not take their stuff away from them, they will mutiny, and it will get ugly.
It gets ugly fast.
Especially when I get to the point where I'm like, I have 6 players. I'm totally outnumbered here. I got no leverage. Like,
yeah, that is true.
yeah. Eventually, it levels out once you get high enough level where if people have too many overpowered magical items, they still could only use so many because attunement slots. So I think that's where it kind of can save you once you've made some mistakes. Well, it's worked out okay. I mean, you guys have a ton of magical stuff, and now you have to do lots of magical inventory. That makes it sound like it's exciting.
It adds a little bit of a strategy to it. Where if you have more than, 3 attunement requirements, it's, gotta anticipate what you're getting into. Because how long does it take to attune?
An hour.
Yeah, so that's precious time when you're in the middle of adventuring.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you kind of know, like, all right, we're going here, I'm going to switch over to my fire-resistant stuff, because it is a fire keep. This seems like a good idea. Or, more likely, they go, we're in the fire keep. Shoot, should I have attuned to, like, my fire-resistant stuff?
Hey guys, you want to back up a little bit and take an hour?
Can we just take a short rest and I'll, sort that out? Would that be good?
See,
please hold.
And I would be the jerk that would interrupt that short rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Aww.
They always look over at me, they're like, do we get to take a short rest?
Oh, it's all because of the one time that we're like, all right, we're taking a short rest. I'm going to go ahead and it's like, guys, before you do that, it's like, oh no.
And you're like, no.
We were so used to it.
And you're like, no, we need to roll hit die. What's happening? No, don't do this to us.
Why?
Which shows you, overall, I'm a pretty nice DM. Like, I've been relatively kind. But
relatively kind.
As a DM, yeah.
Yeah. I just like that. Relatively
kind. I've tormented you guys a little bit, but not in any sort of cutting off of arms sort of situations.
No cutting off of arms.
Ripping open of chests and...
Yeah, no, I don't think that has happened yet. At all.
Well, it's a little more... It's less fatal, in vampire, so...
Well, okay. Well, I guess...
Makes sense.
I guess that's reassuring. Alright, so what do we have left to go over as part of this recording to bring it all together?
Bring it all together. Jarlaxle, the way he is, with all of those items, would break any 5e attunement rules.
He has more attunements than, like, your entire party has attunements.
Does he have more attunements than Drizzt had?
Oh, he's so
God,
much worse.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So much worse.
Oh, yes.
Because I know we went over his millions of attunements.
Yeah, well, no, we hardly even got into weapons, have we?
No, we barely even... There's a few there, but that's just a small...
I mean, ones I like are his bracers that he can just throw daggers, but only every 1 in 3 is real.
Which is stupid. No, like stupid cool. Because
but
it's the same illusion thing where if people believe they're real, they're gonna hurt them.
Yeah.
If they think it's a real thing, it hurts them.
Because he's just that good.
And of course, as the daggers gets thrown, after it hits something, it just disappears and returns into his bracer.
Well, where else would it go?
it would just be a dagger.
Oh, there's the daggers that he can turn into short swords and then turn into long swords and then back into daggers with just flicking his wrist every time.
That's pretty cool.
Well, and the silver mace.
Silver mace,
which is a small little charm.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal.
So how does that work, Jeremy?
Does he even have to... I think
he just flicks
I
it.
say he just
a
flicks
bonus
it.
action?
Pretty much. Because he doesn't say or do anything. He just grabs it and all of a sudden, boom, there's a freaking silver mace.
Yep.
But honestly, I do really like him as a character. I think he's fun. But, like, trying to picture DMing for a character like this, I'm just like, ugh. Wait, what are you going to pull out of your pocket now? Oh, you also have this, blah, 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 blah. It's like...
Oh, a wand of viscous globs. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like, if you're trying to picture this actually be a character running a game, it would be like that player who's like, oh, I didn't tell you I have this on my sheet. You're like, what are you talking about? He's like, this! And pulls out, like, this ridiculously powerful homebrew magic item, and you're like, I don't think I signed off on it. It's like, too late! It's awesome! It's happening! That's, like, all of Jarlaxle's character.
Well, that's kind of what Salvatore's known for, though. He does just some ridiculous things,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, you don't read those books for it to be, D&D playable.
No.
Oh, no, and we went to
what?
Yeah, we went to a panel that he was on when he was in Florida a couple years ago, and he has no illusions about that. I think, honestly, one of the things I liked about him best is he's like a fanboy of his own characters. Like, he thinks they're awesome and they're cool and he loves them. And I'm like, yep, totally can tell. Totally get that in reading.
As I'm reading this, yeah, I agree with you. You do love these characters.
Which I think is a strength overall, but it does lead to when you think, if you try to think too hard about it, you're like, this is ridiculous.
Like, why? Why?
I think the thing that I like about Jarlaxle and other characters in the Forgotten Realms, even though it's over the top and it can be so cheesy, and yes, nobody dies for real, it's kind of like superhero comics where you're like, they'll be back. I think there's just this commitment to people being so like over the top heroic that somehow carries you with it if you buy into it. And I think that's why we like Jarlaxle, because even though he's an anti-hero, he's still, you're like, he's cool, he's effortless, he's fun, he does grow over time, so he's not totally static.
I think that the key words there were fun and his growth. You know, again, he's very dynamic in that anti-hero aspect, and it's not just for the sake of, you know, having, you know, a laundry list of magical items. It's actually, there's a bit of flair to it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, instead of just like, I am powerful, look at all this stuff. It's almost like, what should I use next?
Well, and I like from when his character's first introduced to where he kind of ends up, he really does go on a journey to try to be good more, as opposed to just acting entirely out of self-interest. He still says like, no, I'm doing this because it's good for me too. But he definitely goes out of his way and risks his life to, you know, help those who need it more often than not. And I'm a sucker for that sort of story.
I love a moment that in the books, after he does leave Bregan D'Arth for a short time with Camuriel, and because he's trying to be more good, and he goes back and says, oh, I need them to go and deal with this threat, and Camuriel goes, okay, it's going to cost you this much. He's like, wait, you're charging me. Like, yes, I am currently in charge. Are you going to take charge again, or
are you hiring us?
It's like, are you hiring us? Like, well, I mean, technically, it's like, it's okay, so it'll cost you this much.
So then technically it's going to cost this amount.
Yeah. But, he has a good character arc, and I think it's still fun to see just what his character's going to do in any given circumstance, just like, what will happen now? And how will it be kind of like an over-the-top action movie at points, and at others just like a really silly, I don't know, comedy. Like, it's just so larger than life all the time.
It really is.
So I think we're at that point where we can kind of go through final thoughts. I know it's fun to like kind of break the character down and be like, this is wrong with it and this is wrong with it. I still think he's a fun character. I liked getting to interact with him as an NPC in the story, and I'm really excited to see how he's involved in the new book.
I'm so excited about that.
The Dragon Heist? Dragon Heist? Am I saying that right? Yep. Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to kind of listen back to this episode after that comes out and see kind of where they took his character.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
How about you, Rachel? Final thoughts, since this character's mostly
He seems ridiculous.
Yes.
I want his items. So many of his items. I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. Ooh, that sounds fun.
So what I'm hearing, Rachel, is I was like, as a player character, I was like, I want to meet him. You're like, I want to kill him and loot his stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never.
Sorry, knock him unconscious and take his stuff.
Steal all his stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So how about you, Jerry? Final thoughts?
He's amazing. I have a man crush.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's ridiculous, over the top. It's fun. It is the fantasy action soap opera comedy movie of the century.
Yeah. All in one. All in one character. He's a walking everything.
He's just dynamic. Like,
he checks all the boxes.
Like I was saying, like on the Discord, it's just, he is so deep and complex that it makes it all worth it, and you can kind of suspend that little bit of disbelief, because again, it's fantasy anyway, but
yeah.
you're kind of like, alright, I can buy that. Alright.
I'm on board with it.
Yeah, I think it's true. You kind of get swept up in it. It's a fun ride, and I'm curious to see kind of what his character will continue to do, especially with him being brought in the adventure. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Tony?
I'm right there with you, Jeremy. Like, this is, I've
You're
said
like-
this is my favorite character in the Forgotten, this is my favorite character in the Forgotten Realms. And yeah, he's got tons of cool magic items. Yeah, he's got all these people that basically, like, he himself has no power by himself. It's his magic items that give him all this power, but it's that swagger and confidence and being able to talk his way out of just about anything. And even if he can't, he'll probably still beat you in a fight.
Yeah, because he is actually skilled too.
He's
That's
actually
true.
very skilled with a sword. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all that, like, in the end, like, yeah, you know, by himself, he still has all of that. But then let's go ahead and dump a bunch of magic items on him, too, and make him even more interesting. Because you're right, like, he doesn't just, oh, I'm just going to use the easiest magic item I can. It's, what'll be the most fun or interesting right now?
Or unexpected.
Or unexpected.
Yeah.
How did you get into tabletop role-playing games?
Well, when I was a kid, I got into fantasy literature really early. Thanks to my mom, actually. She got my first fantasy book, David Eddings, The Belgariad. And then I discovered, I think it was first edition, at the library, I want to say. Just rented it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I never did anything with it, but I just thought it was cool. So it wasn't really until high school, my junior year, when I finally met a group of people. And I've been wanting to officially play, some D&D outside of, the PC. And since then, it's been pretty much nonstop. Started with D&D, then third edition, actually no, second edition. And then we really got into World of Darkness. A lot of Vampire the Masquerade. I love running all things World of Darkness.
I feel like that might have come up once or twice
I think
in
so.
our,
Maybe
in our
once or
group
twice.
chat.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think I might have mentioned that.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I found it away somewhere.
Yeah.
From somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, I like World of Darkness. one of my phrases that my friends make fun of me for is, that is so World of Darkness. When I see something that just has that hint of like kind of gothic noir,
And you're like, oh man, so World of Darkness.
I gotta bring that into my campaign.
Do it.
So yeah,
Okay.
I had a few years off, just between school and health. It's like about 2.5 years. And then my friend is like, hey, how come we don't game anymore? It's like, I don't know. All right. So then he got me to do it, and then I discovered you guys and Tales from the Dark Dragon's Inn, and here we are.
Sweet.
Nice.
So that goes to the next question, huh?
Yeah, which is, how did you get into podcasting?
Found you. Well, I found Tales from the Dark Dragon's Inn. I messaged Ray. I'm like, hey, what else is out there? And he mentioned you guys. And
Aww.
yeah.
Ray's the best.
Yeah, he really
Yeah.
is.
He's awesome. He's such a good dude. So, and yeah, both of your podcasts are pretty much, you make my Monday mornings.
Aw.
Yeah.
Glad. That's nice to know. I'm always like, I'm glad when people enjoy our content
Yeah.
because when we started, I'm like, if anyone at all listens to it that we don't know and enjoys it, I will be so happy.
Yep.
If we get more than 6 downloads that is us, we'll be happy.
No, let's be honest. If we got a download that wasn't one of us, we were happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled that we could have even just a small part in, you know, bringing you further into a great community and doing something that you love.
Yeah. You guys have been awesome. It's one of the totally unexpected.
It's unexpected for us too, honestly. There's points where I'm like, we're just people on the internet. I'm glad people are willing to talk to us.
I'm just a weirdo with 7 cats. You know?
Well, I wasn't going to say it, Rachel.
I'm just jealous that I don't have any cats. So,
it's true, it's true. I'll loan you a
Yeah.
couple. We'll even it out.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think it's really great just to be part of like the community, you know, in the sort of the microcosm of just like people who we know well on podcasts, but just in general, I think people are so nice and friendly and helpful that it's just a great place to be and to grow and to create.
Yeah, and we're all just here to help each other out. It's just that, communal creation, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're all friends now.
Yay! We're not just people on the internet, we're friends.
Rachel and I are Facebook official.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're Facebook
man.
official.
Ah.
And Jane,
Sorry.
What?
Jane and myself, too. So
Oh man!
Yeah.
Now wait. Now I feel like I'm left out, and then I realize, oh wait, I'm almost never on Facebook anymore. Sorry, guys.
I am never on
I
Facebook.
I put all my time into the Twitter.
Yeah, I'm usually I'm on Facebook probably more than Twitter or the other stuff. So
or those other
whatever
social medias.
whatever the kids use these days.
the Instagrams, the Musical.ly, the live.now, I think it's live.
I'm sorry,
Well,
you lost
yeah.
me now.
I only know that because it came up on my feed, but that's derailing. Anyways,
That doesn't happen.
I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite roleplay system to play?
I gotta think on that one.
Do ya?
I
Do ya, though?
want to say 3.5. No. No. or
Fourth edition, right?
Or
It's
second,
fourth edition.
Or second. I do miss THACO.
Yeah.
I talk about THACO a lot.
We won't go there. It's a dark place.
It's too much
Yeah.
mathing.
I
But this could be any system. It doesn't have to be D&D.
know. No, it's obviously it's World of Darkness.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
it's
yeah.
been, yeah. I
Yeah.
cannot wait for 5th edition Vampire. I'm freaking out. And we're going to end up playing probably... So right now we're doing once a month. Very quickly here, it's probably going to end up being 3 times a month.
Because you need it, right?
Well, yeah, because
Need that fix.
I need Vampire. And so do my friends. Like, they were pumped to play. Because we played the alpha together, and they loved it. And then my friend wants to start running Monster of the Week.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, this is his first foray into running any kind of game. So, he didn't
Nice.
he didn't start gaming
Cool.
until 2012 when I started my one of my Vampire the Masquerade campaigns.
And you're like, yes, join
Is
us.
welcome to the fold!
Yeah, I realize we use very sort of cultish language sometimes.
Yeah.
One of us.
What?
One of us.
We
Just come try it out, and then you'll be hooked, I swear.
Yeah.
The last question we have is, do you have a favorite memory or moment you're most proud of as a DM or a player, or one of each?
I was talking to my friends about this, and I have way too many. Stuff I forgot about, even. It's like, man. I would say the one I can actually remember is again, Vampire the Masquerade, of course.
Wow.
Right? Who knew?
Shock.
So the guys were they were gearing up for a battle, so they raided a store to just grab a bunch of supplies, and then this custom creature I created. This is basically really creepy doll in a tux. Has no mouth. It's just eyes. It's like a big giant Lego guy in a tux.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can't. The only way you could destroy him was with fire, because they were filled with black sand, and the black sand was magical, which I'll explain in a minute. So they pretty much got they got attacked. They got surrounded. They ran to their van and started running away. But as they're running, I think they cut open one of the guys, and the sand is almost like an amoeba. So it's lashed onto one of the guys. It wrapped around his arm, and as they're driving away, his arm is slowly just like being twisted and contorted. And they end up, one of the guys is like, put your arm out of the door, and then he slices his arm off.
Whoa.
Yeah. Otherwise, he would have been dead very quickly because he would have been consumed by the black sand. So it was pretty awesome.
It was intense.
It was so
a good
intense.
moment.
It was just to have another player cut off, another player's arm was pretty epic.
Yeah.
In that same one, I also had a player paralyze another player, rip open his chest to check out his heart, because their hearts were surrounded with a explosive device, and he wanted to make sure what he's told was actually true. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Hey, but he healed him.
All right.
He healed him afterwards.
But hey, it was all fine.
Yeah.
They were the best of friends afterwards. It's
Well,
all good.
He gave him some blood, not realizing that the guy who was taking the blood was ending up being bloodbound to him. So it was kind of, yes, I'm going to heal you.
Okay.
Here's some blood, because then you'll become my servant.
Jeez.
Oh,
I'm now feeling like
wow.
maybe our games are way too low stakes.
It is vampire, and
Yeah.
I tend to run very dark campaigns. My friends have come to expect that. So
Is your podcast going to be suitably dark, or are you going in a different direction?
it's getting very dark very quickly here.
Mm.
It's I always kind of like to feel them out, kind of see where they're at. yeah, they're starting to get the hint, and they're starting to enjoy it, so I'm going to continue to, not obscenely dark, not blood and gore dark, but just dark in theme. Kind of like high risks, but high reward, potentially.
Gotcha.
I'm a very risk versus reward kind of DM.
Tony is of the false sense of security DM. Things are nice.
I don't know
They're
what
good.
you mean.
People are friendly. You like them.
Let me take them from you.
My friends are so paranoid. It's been a very slow go because as players, they're all really paranoid, but their players are also, or their characters are also really paranoid.
Oh, so it really stacks.
Yes, and it has been a joy just to sit back and just watch them be so paranoid.
Watch them squirm.
Yeah, and I'm just like in my head, I'm like, this is nothing, guys. It's I'm just waiting for you.
Like just waiting.
Yep.
Let me know when you're ready to continue.
Lots of great role playing though. Phenomenal role playing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry. I just thought of another great story. So, there's demon-worshipping vampires. They're called the Baal, B-A-A-L. And they were probably like the big, bad enemy in most of my campaign. And one of their leaders ended up taking the heart of one of my players. It was a special kind of custom-made discipline I made. But he was dumb enough to try to take her head on. So I'm like, I don't want to kill him, but I really want to mess with him. So basically, she took his heart, and then he pretty much became a scrying device where she could listen in on anything they were doing, which they found out about later. And then she could also mess with his emotions. So,
wow!
Yeah. And she could kill him. She could kill him at any point because she could just take a wooden stake to it, and he would just instantly turn it ash.
So she had his heart. So how it is in Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh.
Yep, and she had it. They didn't know where it was. So they spent a good amount of time trying to recover his heart.
Were they successful?
They were not.
Oh. No.
Well,
did she take a stake to it?
No. We never honestly finished it, because that's when, between health and school, we never finished, and they really want to. And most of us actually remember where we were, so it might
someday.
Get picked up. Yeah.
Someday.
Possibly. They were I've run this long story arc for 15, almost 20 years. They're all interlaced, and this is the first group that actually got close to the center of this just intricate web. So,
and which you are, I am understanding, the spider in the center of the web.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Almost there. So close.
Well, there's still time.
There is.
Yeah.
We'll probably go back to it. They want to, so I probably will.
Awesome.
So I think that kind of wraps it all up. Thank you, Jeremy, so much.
Thank you.
For recording this. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at, just type in Midknight Kingdoms, because typing in the @ thing is difficult. You can find all my contact info there, again, because my email is really, really long. So yeah, type in Midknight Kingdoms on your Twitter search, and I'll pop right up and go from there.
Awesome.
Yes. I want to plug one other thing. It's an upcoming one. We're in very preliminary stages for a reason, because I don't want to get over my head yet. But the mental health and tabletop role playing, very, 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 very important to me. We're in the very, very early preliminary stages. I'm actually going to post something on the Discord soon. That will be, I'm hoping to release that next May, because that is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I will start, once we start releasing our actual play, I will start promoting that as well. So if any of you listeners are, view mental health is important, and, definitely see the correlation between role-playing games and mental health, please hit me up. I will talk to you all day about it, just like most things I'm passionate about, but
no, and I think we can mention, we have in the description a link to our Discord, because we have a channel there just for that conversation if people are interested, because I think it's something that if we don't all care about, we should, because we are all human beings.
100% agree.
Oh wait, hold on, I didn't check. Is everyone here a human being?
We're all over 18, so I believe so.
I didn't renew my subscription.
That's true. But we are DMs, and we've heard some things about what they say about DMs.
But otherwise, yeah, I think that's a great thing that you're really passionate about, and I'm excited to see where that goes and what we can all learn from those conversations.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
So awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
No, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Thank you, Jeremy.
And everyone, don't forget to check out Midnight Kingdoms coming out in September.